Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great day today and welcome back to the channel. So today we're checking out the new Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. So this is available at Sephora for $48 and it's available in 30 shades. Today I'm going to be checking out the shade 4C1 Praline, which is medium with cool undertones. I'm so excited it has a cool undertone. So I'm going to give you guys a swatch in just a second. So this is a weightless foundation that blurs the line between makeup and skin. It has medium buildable coverage. It's supposed to be waterproof and it should last for up to 12 hours it gives you up to 12 hours of fade proof wear. So per the usual, we're going to jump right into my first impression of this and then we're going to be shooting for an 8-hour wear test. And of course, I'll let y'all know if I think y'all should pick this up and try it for yourselves. Let's get started. Okay, I'm giving this a good shake because it's a new bottle of foundation. I always like to shake up new foundations really well. And let's get started with the swatch. Again, this one is the shade 4C1 Praline. So that looks like it's going to be a nice match. Okay, I always like to start out with like a half a pump on each side and then I'll go back and see if we can build it up a little bit. So I'm going to start over here with, ooh, it kind of squirted out. I'm going to start out with that much. I feel like that's a little less than a half a pump, but let's just start with that. And then I'm going to blend with my Morphe E63 per the usual. So I only have my skincare on. I don't have any primer. So we're supposed to get a medium buildable coverage. So far it's blending out really easily and I could kind of tell it was going to do that based on how it's swatched. It feels like skincare. It does feel like moisturizer. So that's just a little bit of product, but I think I am getting a nice medium coverage so far. It feels really good. I feel like if you wanted to, like I don't like putting, I don't like blending out my makeup with my hands, but if you like to do that, I feel like this is one that would feel really nice, just kind of like rubbing it in the hands. It's blending out very, very nicely. So that's about half a pump of foundation over here versus nothing over here. So let's go over on this side and then we'll see if we can build it up. I'm kind of scared to squirt this out. Of course, it got on my sweater. All right, for this particular foundation, it's gonna be best to like squirt it on the back of your hand or like on a palette or something, because this just squirted out, of course, right in the middle of my pink sweater. It kind of like shoots out. So I'm hoping that this does build up to a nice full coverage because I always talk about how I like it when foundations build up really well. Okay, I just zoomed out just a little bit so you can see my whole face, but I like it when foundations can build up really well because it makes the foundation versatile, because this level of coverage right here I think is really nice for like everyday minimal kind of like no makeup coverage, but I like it when you can use the same foundation to get minimal coverage or build it up really nicely if you want to go all the way to full. Like some foundations you can just start off with full coverage right off the bat, but I like it when they can kind of build up. So I hope that makes sense. So this is about one layer of the makeup. It's a really good shade match and it looks really nice, and I just love how it blends out. It looks really nice and natural. Is this supposed to be, I think it just said natural for the finish. Yeah, because it said like a hybrid between makeup and skin. So yeah, it's supposed to give a nice natural finish, which so far it does. All right, so let's go back onto this side here and we'll see if we can build this up to a full coverage. This is one full pump of the foundation, so I'm gonna go in with another pump because that was like a really small pump. But again, you definitely want to pump this out either on the back of your hand or a palette or directly onto your brush, because it will like squirt out really harsh. So because I have like some blemishes on the cheek area, I always check for buildability right up in this area here. So I feel like it did cover up everything else that was still visible after the first layer. And I would say that you can definitely build this up to a strong medium finish. Like I'm definitely, or strong medium coverage rather, I'm definitely getting more coverage than the first layer, but it's not like as full coverage as I don't know where it is, but the new KVD foundation, like that foundation is like really full coverage. This one won't give you as much, but you can get like a really good amount of coverage. So over here, this is about I'm gonna say like 2 pumps of the foundation over here versus 1 pump over here. So I'm going to go on the other side, and again I'm doing 2 pumps because they are pretty small, just so that we're even on both sides. It feels kind of serum-y. So I know I loved that new KVD foundation that just came out, but I did watch a couple of reviews. It seems like most people like it, but of course there's going to be some people who, you know, things react differently to different people. So there were a few people who felt like it was too like thick, kind of cakey on the skin. To me, this has kind of like the same consistency of the KVD foundation, but it's not like as thick. Like I feel like this one should blend out better than the KVD one for people who are having issues with that foundation. We've been having some good foundation launches lately, like so far this year, I would say. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like. I would say built up to a nice, strong, medium coverage, and I like it so far. So I'm going to put my concealer on. I'll come back and show you guys how I'm going to set it with powder. All right, I'm going in with my Kosas Cloud Set powder, and I'm going to set just one side of the face so that we can compare both sides. And then I want to kind of compare the foundation to a couple others that I reviewed kind of recently. Okay, so as I always say, no matter what powder you're using on top of a liquid foundation, the powder is going to like ever so slightly mattify, but I wanted y'all to see the difference between what it looks like set with a powder versus what it looks like fresh. So before I powder the other side of it, I think it's easier to compare a foundation that we're reviewing to ones that we kind of recently reviewed because they're fresh in our mind. So comparing this Laura Mercier foundation to these two, the Makeup by Mario and the KVD one, I feel like it looks more similar to the Makeup by Mario foundation in that it looks very skin-like. If you're looking for something that looks more flawless on the face, it will look a little more makeup-y, but it'll still look nice. Then I would say the KVD foundation looks a bit more flawless than this one. Like I remember when I reviewed this one, my skin just looks super smooth on the areas where I have pores, whereas this one you can still kind of make out my texture a little bit better because this one, the Laura Mercier foundation, is just more skin-like compared to KVD. So with that being said, I think it is very similar to this. Some people are going to think that this one is going to be a little more luminous because it has like those little flecks in it. I didn't think that. Like to me, this didn't really look luminous. It looked very natural, which is why I think these two are quite similar. But I just wanted to give you guys that comparison to some other recent foundation launches. So of course we don't know how it wears yet, but just, you know, in terms of the finish, I wanted to give you guys that comparison. So I'm gonna set on this side. I forgot I wanted to use a cream blush today, and I wanted to put that on before I put this setting powder on, but no big deal. I'll just use another blush for today. So this is what it looks like, all nice and set with powder. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup off camera, then we will start the wear test. Okay, so this is what the makeup looks like for today. So everything that I have on is in the description box in case you're interested. So first impression on this new Laura Mercier foundation, I like it. I think it looks very nice and seamless, skin-like, natural, all of that. I think that my makeup looks very nice and put together for today. It's definitely like a skin-like foundation. I feel like I need more bronzer on my forehead because I'm so used to having a bang. So now that I'm wearing my hair like this, like I have a big forehead and it's just like I need to do something about that. But anyway, getting back to this, my only downside so far is the pump on the foundation. So y'all can't see it on camera, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to change my shirt because I have like a big spot of foundation like right in the middle of the shirt because of how it's squirted out. So that's the only downside that I see so far, but in terms of how it's looking on the face, I think it looks really good. So let's get started with the wear test. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a midway check-in for today, but either way, I'm shooting for about 8 hours, and then of course I will show y'all what it looks like after having it on all day and then give you my final thoughts then. So it's a little after 9 o'clock in the morning, so I will see y'all a little bit later on. Okay, I am back and it is 5:30, so we did 8.5 hours today, and this is what we're looking like. I am very shiny, but I did not touch up the makeup halfway through like I normally do because I wasn't able to get that on camera. So I have not touched my face since 9 o'clock this morning. So even though I am very shiny, I think my face looks really good for not having touched it at all for the past like 8.5 hours. So the last thing that we're going to do is we are going to touch it up now, just so that I can show you guys what it looks like after I touch it up. So I have my clean tissue and I'm just blotting all of the areas where I think that I have excess oil. So for me, that's basically my T-zone area. And I don't know if y'all can tell now, but I did put a little bit more bronzer on my forehead after I did the first part of the video. Okay, so that's what we look like after blotting off the excess oil, and I think that looks really, really good. I feel like, well, actually, I wasn't going to put powder on, but I am going to do that just so y'all can see what that looks like. But this looks really good, just blotting off the oil. Where's my powder? Just for the sake of it, let's try. So normally when I touch up like midway through during a wear test, I always touch up with the same Kosas powder, which, oh, here it is. I usually touch up with the Kosas powder, but just because we're at the end of the wear test, let's just go ahead and touch up with this NARS powder. I really like this powder too, but as I've told y'all in a few other wear test videos, I always use that Kosas powder because it does a good job at setting the makeup without altering the finish of it too much. So this NARS powder is a matte finish powder, so I don't like wear testing foundations with a matte powder because that's going to kind of like drastically change the finish of the foundation. But since we're at the end of the wear test, let's go ahead and use this powder. I keep forgetting though with this powder, this is the shade Offshore, and I keep forgetting that this also changes the color of my foundations because it has a pretty prominent like pink tone to it. That Kosas powder is basically like translucent. So that's what it looks like after setting it with some powder. So I think it looks really good. So my final thoughts on this new Laura Mercier foundation, I really like it. I don't think that I like it any better than the Makeup by Mario foundation or KVD, or any better than my Makeup Forever HD Skin foundation, but I think that this is one that's going to go in rotation with those. The three that I just mentioned are three pretty recent ones that have become my favorite, and this one is going to go in rotation with that because I think it wore very well on me today. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope that you enjoyed the video for today. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.